Hey guys, Pat from Elite Action Joe Studios. I was quiet there for a minute so you could read. Today, top 10 ROG Story Studio videos. Oh wait. Alright, so they got two. The third one should be coming out by the weekend. So it's three. I'll have to wait a couple more months before I do the top 10. So, in the meantime, top 10 loose non 1/6 scale. Alright, this one's a menagerie of stuff. Some of it's from my childhood, some of it I've had for years. Just great lines of stuff I like. So let's get right into it, try and make it a fast one for you. First, starting lineup. This was a 2-pack. So this is Joe Namath here. And this is Don Maynard here, his receiver. This is a really cool 2-pack. Jets were my favorite team when I was little, and then I changed to the Saints because, you know, the myth and legend of Namath was no more. So I moved on. I asked my dad one day, who's the worst team in the league? And he said, oh, the Saints. And I said, that's my new team. Okay, anyway, so moving over here. Yes, baby. Hot Rod. Rowdy Roddy Piper. So, I was a wrestling fan when I was a kid, as most are a little bit, and Piper was my favorite. I had a bunch of these. I didn't really collect them. I got Piper, and I think the Warrior, and I had Hogan. For some reason, this is the only one I still have. And then, funny story, my wife was in a movie and met him and worked with him, and he was like, it was one of his last movies before he passed away. So, I wish I would have sent this with her, just so he could have just held it for 30 seconds. No, I'm not that kind of weirdo, but... so, that's my Piper figure. I think it's, I can't remember, these are Hasbro, I think, but like I said, I'm not a wrestling figure expert. Okay, then, Marvel Legends, First Avenger, Captain America. This was the original one. I think if you've already watched my boxed, this was the one I was telling you about that came in a 2-pack, with Sergeant Fury, but I had to have this one loose. Alright, next, Grifter. So Grifter started off, I think, with Dark Horse Comics and a team called Wildcats, and I just loved his character. Then they kind of faded off. He got his own comic for a short time, then he disappeared. I just recently found out that he had been, because I got out of comics, years ago, but I just found out that he got bought by DC and was actually in a couple runs with Batman, which I may have to just try and find. But he's a really cool character. I have a larger figure, but it's not as detailed. And this is complete. I have his guns and his stand and stuff. But next, the Marvel Legends Punisher. Now, this is the comic book version, and it is badass. Oops, sorry, I swore it. Oh! Sorry, Emma, and sorry, Em over at Raj Story Studio. I apologize. I'm going to get fined for that. Next, I'm just kind of going in order of size to an extent. My dogs are going crazy. It's going to ruin this, but anyway. Next, I'm going to count this as one figure because this is my Fisher-Price Adventure People Northwest. I think I can't remember the name of it now. Northwest camping set. Jeff, put in the comments. I forget the name of it. But yeah, this was a great line of figures. I'm counting this because it's a set. So love this set. I got only a few more. I've been kind of looking for them at flea markets. Haven't had much luck in the last couple of years, but love this figure. That's my favorite figure of all time. My sisters had these, and so I got some too. Kind of starting to get out of toys, but I kept playing because, I was a nerd. Anyway, up next, G.I. Joe Sigma 6, or Lieutenant Stone. Lieutenant Stone, I don't remember him as far as a Raw. Sigma 6, I mean, I know a lot of the Raw figures, but I don't remember Lieutenant Stone, but this figure is awesome. And then this one is also Sigma 6. Everybody knows him, that's Spirit. This line is super cool. I did a video a ways back on my Sigma 6 collection, which is pretty massive, and I got most of it all at once. But these are probably my two favorites. I had these loose on a shelf. There might be somebody I like more, but you know what? I guess I'll do a top 10 Sigma 6 coming up soon. Now, the next three and the closers are childhood toys. Number one, the Fonz. This is Amigo Fonz. Got his, his thumbs up. Hey. I had a lot of Amigos. This is the only one I held on to for some reason. But I always liked the Fonz. Great show, great character. Okay, next, Mark's Ready Gang. I think he was the Sundown Kid. I always liked him because he looks like Robert Redford. Guys, I'm just missing his hat. I got his guns and his holster. He's got spurs. One of the spurs broke in the box when I was taking it out today. So, but yeah, that's a childhood toy. Me and my brother had the whole set. It was a pretty cool line. Kind of could fit in with the Lone Ranger Gabriel line, which we did have and we used with them in some big gyms and stuff. And speaking of big gym, this is the Mattel figure. Now, his name it's confusing to me because I thought he came with the Grizzly Adams set, if I remember correctly, because my sister had Grizzly Adams. And there was another Indian, I think, called Nakoma, who had long black hair, and I thought this one came with that set. But I saw most of the ones listed are Winatu from the Carl May. They maybe just used the same, but he's one of my favorite figures from my childhood because I used to use him as Tarzan. I had a Tarzan Mego, but this guy just seemed more Tarzan-y to me. But he's cool. Like I said, those last three are childhood toys. Those three, and I think my Sea Adventurer are pretty much my only childhood toys. I might have something somewhere in a box, but I don't have a lot of stuff, stored away, but except for like some box stuff. But this is my loose non-1/6 scale. Kind of a variety of stuff. I just sometimes when I buy, even over the last 20 years or so, I buy what's cool, what I like, characters or whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you have any questions about any of these figures, let me know. And if not, I guess I'll have to dig out the whole box of Sigma 6 and do a top 10 Sigma 6. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed my top 10 loose non-1/6 scale. And if you didn't notice, I did just do these by size. Kind of inadvertently, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments which one you liked the best. Which ones didn't you like? If I was wrong about anything, let me know. If you have any more information about anything, let me know. Until then, as the Fonz would say, hey!